Oscar De La Hoya, at the age of 52, lives in indescribable luxury and opulence. His mansion in Los Angeles, valued at $18.5 million, is an architectural masterpiece blending modernity and extravagance. The mansion spans over 10,000 square feet, with glass facades opening onto breathtaking natural views, and a meticulously designed garden featuring an expansive pool and an artificial waterfall that adds a unique sense of tranquility. The interior is even more astonishing: a home theater, a fully equipped gym, a smart kitchen with the latest technology. And even more impressive, he owns other mansions of even greater value. Add to this watches worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, including a custom-made gold Rolex and rare pieces from Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. It is said that he owns just one diamond ring, but its value surpasses that of entire jewelry boxes. And the strangest part? This is just a small glimpse into his lavish world. What he keeps hidden in his garage exceeds the value of everything mentioned so far. But before we dive deeper and uncover the details, let's go back to the beginning, to where it all started. From a poor child in Los Angeles to a true legend who forged glory inside and outside the ring. Oscar De La Hoya was born on February 4, 1973, in Los Angeles, California, in a humble neighborhood known for its Mexican roots. From an early age, he showed an extraordinary passion for boxing, which caught the attention of those around him. His father, Jose De La Hoya, had briefly practiced boxing and saw a promising future for his son in the sport. Although his father was not a world champion, he was Oscar's first influence, giving him the opportunity to train from a young age, inspired by his own love for the sport. By the age of 14, Oscar began competing in local matches, and his performance in the ring improved remarkably. His real breakthrough came when he participated in a national junior championship in 1988. Despite his young age, he displayed an exceptional ability to outperform his rivals, catching the attention of U.S. sports officials, and he was called to participate in the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Up to that point, Oscar De La Hoya was just a struggling young man chasing his dream. But in the Olympics, the world would witness the birth of a new legend. As the boxing competitions began, Oscar was at the peak of his brilliance. He started the tournament with full force, and his movements in the ring drew attention every time. In the final match, he faced a major challenge against Jose Lopez, Cuba's champion, known for his strength and resilience. But Oscar was not one to back down. In that match, he showcased his unique technical style in offense and defense. He moved smoothly, relying on quick and unexpected punches to catch his opponent off guard multiple times. In the final round, the knockout blow against Jose Lopez announced the arrival of a new star in the boxing world. Oscar won the gold medal, achieving the greatest victory of his life and becoming an Olympic champion at just 19. After his gold medal win, Oscar didn't feel his dream was fully realized yet. Instead, he knew this Olympic triumph was just the beginning. In '93, at the age of 20, Oscar De La Hoya decided it was time to transition to professional boxing. His dream was to become a champion in multiple weight classes, but to achieve this, he had to face more experienced and powerful opponents. On November 6, 1993, in Los Angeles, Oscar fought his first professional bout against Gabriel Ruiz, a boxer who wasn't considered a big name. But for Oscar, it was the start of a real challenge. His first chance to prove himself in front of a professional audience. Oscar entered the ring with unbelievable determination. His punches were fast and powerful, showcasing his high technical skill. In the second round, Oscar won by knockout, giving him a stellar start to his professional career. This knockout sent a message to all opponents in the professional world. Oscar De La Hoya wasn't just an Olympic champion, he was a beast in the ring. After this dominant victory, Oscar quickly climbed the ranks. By 1994, he had become one of the rising names in boxing. On February 9, 1994, he fought his first world title match against Jimmy Bredal, the world champion in the 130-pound division. Jimmy had already proven himself as one of the best in the weight class and was considered one of Oscar's toughest opponents. But in the match, Oscar began asserting his dominance from the first round. His technical style was incredibly fast, his punches precise and unavoidable. and his footwork in the ring was exceptional. In the 7th round, after a series of devastating attacks, Oscar won the fight via referee stoppage, securing his first world title in the 130-pound division. This victory marked the beginning of a series of titles Oscar would claim in his career. Oscar's fame grew rapidly, and everyone talked about his immense talent and unique style, which combined speed and precision. In the same year, after moving up to the 135-pound weight class, he faced Jorge Baez, the reigning 135-pound world champion. Jorge Baez had amassed a number of impressive victories in his career and was considered one of the top names in the 135-pound division. This was Oscar's real opportunity to establish himself as a serious contender in professional boxing. Oscar entered the ring determined to assert his place among the best boxers. In the 2nd round, Oscar managed to knock out Jorge Baez, announcing himself as the new world champion. This fight heralded Oscar's arrival at the highest levels of the sport, as he began to achieve victories in more powerful and professional ways. By 1996, after moving up to the 140-pound weight class, Oscar De La Hoya reached one of the most significant milestones of his career when he faced Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez for the WBC super lightweight title. The fight was not just a battle for the belt, but also a clash of generations, pitting the ambitious young fighter who had risen like a rocket against the seasoned veteran considered one of the greatest boxers in the history of Mexico and the world. Although Chavez held an impressive record of 96 wins and only 1 loss, the age difference and De La Hoya's vitality were evident from the first moment. At 23 years old, De La Hoya used his speed and tactical intelligence to control the fight, employing a mix of sharp punches and lateral movement to neutralize Chavez's pressure-heavy body-punching style. As the rounds progressed, Chavez's face began bleeding heavily from a precise blow that opened a deep cut above his eye, gradually impairing his vision. Despite his efforts to continue, the medical team was forced to stop the fight in the 4th round to protect his safety. With this victory, De La Hoya added his 3rd world title in his 3rd different weight class, but he also marked a pivotal moment in boxing history by dethroning one of the sport's icons, announcing the arrival of a new era led by his name. After capturing his 3rd title at 140 pounds against Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar De La Hoya continued his rapid rise by facing Pernell Whitaker on April 12, 1997, for the WBC welterweight 147 lbs title. Whitaker was a masterful defensive boxer and a genuine nuisance for anyone who faced him, with his vast experience and elusive movement. De La Hoya tried to rely on his aggressive style, but struggled to land clean shots, spending most of the fight chasing an opponent who seemed to vanish like a ghost. Nevertheless, he managed to score points through initiative and pressure, and after 12 closely contested rounds, he won by a controversial, unanimous decision. With this victory, he secured his 4th world title in his 4th different weight class, proving his ability to excel in bouts demanding both power and intelligence. After his victory over Whitaker and his ascent to the top of the welterweight division, De La Hoya decided to take on a new challenge at 154 pounds, facing Spain's Javier Castillejo on June 23, 2001, for the WBC title. Although Castillejo was an experienced champion with a long career, Oscar appeared more mature and balanced in the fight, leveraging the expertise he had accumulated across weight classes. He dominated from the opening bell with a blend of speed and precision, knocking his opponent down in the 2nd round and maintaining control throughout all 12 rounds. He won by a clear, unanimous decision, adding a 5th world title in yet another weight class, and proving his ability to impose his style even at higher weights. This victory further cemented his journey toward a historic legacy. While Oscar De La Hoya was collecting titles in different weight classes, his ultimate goal was to become the first boxer in history to win world titles in 6 different weight classes. After establishing his dominance at 154 pounds, Oscar De La Hoya moved up to a new challenge at 160 pounds, middleweight, where he faced Germany's Felix Sturm on June 5, 2004, for the WBO title. The fight came after a relative hiatus, and was part of De La Hoya's plan to eventually face Bernard Hopkins. However, he first needed to get past Sturm, a young and relatively unknown champion at the time. Against expectations, Sturm delivered a solid performance, maintaining proper distance and landing precise punches that troubled De La Hoya in several rounds. Although De La Hoya's performance was not at its best, particularly in terms of offensive intensity, his experience and reputation may have influenced the judges, who awarded him a controversial unanimous decision victory. With this win, De La Hoya secured his sixth title in a different weight class, becoming the first boxer in history to achieve this many titles in ascending weight divisions, further cementing his name in the annals of legend. After all this glory, the signs of a gradual decline began to appear in his career, though he retained his media glamour and status as a fan-favorite star. His next step was the highly anticipated fight against Bernard Hopkins, one of the most dangerous middleweight boxers, in October 2004. Despite De La Hoya's bravery in accepting the challenge, the physical and tactical gap was evident, as he suffered a brutal liver shot in the ninth round that abruptly ended the fight. That loss marked the beginning of a new phase filled with mental and physical challenges, as Oscar began to appear less sharp and slower than before. He returned to the ring in 2006 with a major victory over Ricardo Mayorga, but he couldn't sustain the momentum, later losing a decisive match to Floyd Mayweather in 2007. Despite a solid performance, it wasn't enough to overcome Mayweather's precision and speed, who won by a split decision in what was then described as the highest-grossing fight in boxing history. Even past the age of 34, De La Hoya refused to step back, continuing his search for a victory that would restore his shine. He then faced the dazzling Filipino fighter Manny Pacquiao in December 2008, in a fight that was uneven from the start. De La Hoya entered the ring drained at the wrong weight, lacking muscle density, only to meet an opponent who was younger, faster, and hungrier for victory. Oscar endured a barrage of precise and painful punches and did not come out of his corner between the 8th and 9th rounds, ending the fight in an uncharacteristic manner for a fighter of his stature. That night was a moment of bitter realization, as he admitted weeks later that he no longer had what it took to compete at the highest level. He officially announced his retirement in April 2009. For Oscar, this moment marked the end of an era, but it was also the beginning of a new chapter in his life. Now at 52, Oscar De La Hoya lives a life no less luxurious than the legend he built in the boxing ring. De La Hoya owns a collection of lavish real estate, reflecting his massive fortune, estimated at $200 million. The crown jewel of his property portfolio is a luxurious mansion in Henderson, Nevada, purchased in 2022 for $14.6 million while still under construction. He then invested millions more to transform it into a residential masterpiece named Casa de Oro, House of Gold. The mansion spans nearly 9,000 square feet, featuring 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a private home theater, a climate-controlled wine cellar, and a golf simulator. One of the most unique aspects of the property is a room dedicated to his boxing career, complete with a real boxing ring and memorabilia from his time in the sport. This mansion was later listed for sale at $20 million, showcasing its increased value and rarity in the real estate market. Beyond Nevada, he previously owned a mansion in the upscale Bel Air neighborhood of Los Angeles, which he bought in 1997 for $335 million, and later completely redesigned to reflect his rising status and style. After years of ownership, the Bel Air mansion was listed in 2015 for $18.5 million. Spanning over 10,000 square feet, the estate sits on a hill behind 2 grand gates. It includes 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a home theater, a game room, a gym, and a sprawling garden with a pool featuring a waterfall and a lighted tennis court. Perhaps the most striking display of De La Hoya's love for luxury is his legendary car collection, valued at over $3.3 million. Ferrari SF90 Stradale, a hybrid with 1,000 horsepower, accelerating from 0 to 100 km/h in under 2.5 seconds, valued at approximately $500,000. Lamborghini Murcielago SV, one of the most aggressive and sporty models in Lamborghini's lineup, valued at $400,000. Cesar Moroder V16T 1991, an extremely rare car with only 8 units ever produced, valued at around $800,000. Ferrari FX 1996, a highly exclusive modified version by Pininfarina with only 6 units in existence, worth roughly $1.5 million. Maserati Bora 1974, a classic car with a distinctive 1970s design, valued at about $150,000. And many other cars such as the G-Class, Bentley Continental GT, and the GMC Sierra truck. De La Hoya's luxury doesn't stop at mansions and cars. It extends to his appearance, particularly in watches and jewelry. He owns a rare collection of timepieces that are investments in themselves, from brands like Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet. Some are encrusted with diamonds, while others are custom-made for him. He also owns unique jewelry pieces featuring symbols from his career. The most famous among them is a diamond ring said to be worth enough to buy a luxury apartment in the heart of Los Angeles. Amid all this opulence, it seems De La Hoya is never satisfied. Every step he takes, every aspect of his daily life, reflects a constant pursuit of excellence, luxury, and uniqueness. His life isn't just built on success. It's about living each day as if it were a private show of absolute extravagance.